Hello, and welcome to the Forage and Flourish Community Music Project. My name is Dr. Nathan Hudson, and I am the founder and director of the Community Music Project. If this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you just a little bit about what we are. We are a series of 5 videos, with each video introducing a brand new piece of music, but not just any music. This is music that you, the community, can perform and share, with or without any musical experience. You could be a beginner, you could be an advanced musician, or even a child. And when you watch these videos, hopefully you'll learn the knowledge that you will need to make some beautiful sounds, either alone or with those around you, through these new pieces. The composers who wrote this music are myself, as well as composer Kevin Day, who is a multi-instrumentalist and composer based in Athens, Georgia, and the featured composer today, Dr. Alex Temple, who teaches at Arizona State University. Here at the Community Music Project, it's a bittersweet day that we get to share Alex's music, because it means it's our final episode, our 5th installment. We just wanted to thank you, the community, for tuning in every month and making some noise with us. These days, it was easy to feel silenced, quiet, and we're just not here for that. And so we hope that you were able to make something more with these pieces and to share them with the people around you and to grow this fantastic community. So, to you all, thank you. So the piece we're going to be introducing today is a really exciting one. It's a new work for either solo voice or many voices titled Dragonflies. Now, I could speak a little bit about the work, but why do that when Dr. Alex Temple was kind enough to record a video for us? So let's see what Alex has to say.
Hi, Alex Temple here. When Nathan asked me to be a part of this project, I knew immediately that I wanted to ask people to do something involving their voices. A lot of my work over the years has involved storytelling, often of a science fictional, surrealistic, fantastical, or folkloric nature. The words in this piece, Dragonflies, actually derive from a bit of automatic writing that I did 15 years ago, which in turn was inspired by some vague childhood memories that I couldn't place. Here's how the original text went. I want to be back on a shouting yellow-green lawn near a huge, tall, green-yellow house. It's old and peely, with rackety lemonade stairs and maybe a fake Japanese garden. Absolutely dragonflies. Now, that's already pretty cryptic. But the version in my new piece is even more so. There are no longer any full sentences, just individual words in clouds that I've labeled memory banks. Performers have a lot of options for how to deliver the text, including highly stylized speech and little looping melodies. I encourage them to think about their own vague childhood memories as well, to see if they can make a connection, and maybe even imagine themselves having been there themselves. I encourage them to think about their own vague childhood memories as well, see if they can make a connection, and maybe even imagine themselves having been there in that half-forgotten yellow-green backyard sanctuary.
So, after watching Alex's video, which again, thank you for recording that for us, you might be thinking, well, this sounds a little bit like episode 3, Stutter Proclamation, and you wouldn't be entirely wrong. Both pieces use words, and they may or may not be repeated. But in Stutter Proclamation, we weren't really interested in the meaning of the words. We were interested in the rhythm of the words, based on their syllables, to create this sense of forward motion. In Dragonflies, however, we are really focused on the meaning of these words and how they interact in the context and the words that come before and after. Is a choice that we get to make as the performer, and it impacts the story of this piece. It impacts how you present it, and it's going to impact how it's received. looking at the score, you'll notice that Alex likes to reference two types of vocalists in Dragonflies. There is the soloist, which is notated as such, and the background vocals, which are also notated as background. This is important because this work is able to be performed alone or in a group. In somewhat of a backwards approach, before we take a look at how we can learn Dragonflies, and perform it, and engage with it, let's take a look at the last page of the score where all the magic happens. You'll notice that there are 4 memory banks, Alex calls them. They are collections of words which can be found in a cloud-type shape on the score. These are labeled Memory Bank 1, 2, 3, and 4. And before we can talk about how to perform Dragonflies, just be aware that each of these 4 memory banks contains single words. These single words will be interacted with individually and in different ways, but uniform ways, to their memory bank. Let's continue to go backwards for a second. The words found in these 4 memory banks will be performed using 4 different vocal techniques. The first is casual speech, and as Alex specifies, with an air of wistful detachment. This is going to be a little bit like how I'm speaking to you now, just as if I cared a little bit less. Don't overthink it, don't talk too fast, and don't talk too slow. Be casual. The second is to enunciate these words very deliberately. Like that. Again, we're not trying to present them too quickly or too slowly. Just be very intentional. So those are the first 2 vocal techniques that we'll need to explore in order to perform Dragonflies. The third vocal technique requires us to sing, which we've had a lot of experience with here at the Community Music Project. She instructs us to sing the words casually with a single pitch per word. So even if a word has multiple syllables, you stay on that same pitch. But every word needs to have a different pitch. Something like this, but definitely more interesting, please. Now, as you sing through the words in the memory bank, if you choose to use this technique, if you happen to repeat one on accident, don't fret it. It's still going to have that same air of casual, speech-like song that we're going for. The fourth vocal technique is similar to the third, except for instead of having every word have its own unique pitch, we're going to be dealing with a set of pitches, a small set, 3, 4, 5. And Alex includes some possible sets in the score, but you are free to choose your own pitches. Something like this would be acceptable. But you can of course choose any pitch you want. Now that we've learned about the 4 vocal techniques which you will need in order to perform Dragonflies, let's take a look at the score and see how to get started. Again, the score consists of 4 cloud-like shapes filled with words labeled memory banks 1 through 4. You, as the performer, a single performer, you get to choose which memory bank you want to start with. Okay, so you'll decide upon a memory bank, then you will decide upon a vocal technique. Right? We've talked about them. You can speak casually, speak deliberately, sing casually, or sing using a set group of pitches. You will use the same vocal technique for the entirety of that memory bank. Then you will present the words in any order with as many repetitions of a single word as you would like. So you can say a word once, twice, 3 times. And you will go through and you will present every word found in that memory bank using the vocal technique which you chose. Again, these words can be performed in any order that you would like, and they can be repeated, a single word repeated, as many times as you want. These words can also be presented as slowly or as quickly as you desire. Do not move on to another memory bank until you have completed the first one. So let yourself get through every word using the same vocal technique for every word found in that memory bank, and then we can move on. Once you've completed the first memory bank, let yourself pause. think about what just happened. Try to grasp at this memory. Make a mental image. After this brief pause, we get to move on, and you get to choose the next memory bank, just not the same one. No memory bank will ever be performed twice in a row. Now, when you move on, you get to decide if you want to stay with your same vocal technique or try another one. You'll then repeat this process for all 4 memory banks once. After you've cycled through all of them, then we can go back and repeat, but again, not twice in a row. The piece will be finished once you have repeated the memory banks as many times as you wish. When practicing Dragonflies, you might decide that you want to create some kind of narrative energy or some sort of larger arc throughout your presentation of these memory banks. So explore dynamics, explore speed, explore shaping the words inside more than just choosing a different vocal technique. It's a great way to get creative and to have it tell a story. Really try to share this vivid memory that we can't quite piece together. Let's say that you have a group or you have some small children around. Here's how we get to perform Dragonflies in those settings. If we are performing with a group, there's a couple basic rules that we need to follow. When the soloist is singing or speaking, we get to make some sound, which we're going to get to here in a second. If the soloist is quiet, we're going to be quiet. Now, if the soloist is singing or speaking, we then get to choose one of the following 4 options to be a part of this story. Option 1, if the soloist is singing, hum along, try to match their pitch. This creates a really interesting sort of wave effect, almost like these ghosts of these tones are trying to catch up with the soloist. If the soloist is speaking, you can hum a single pitch, a drone, if you will. Think back to Float. The electronic track was a drone. The second option is to whisper all of the notes in the memory bank in any order you want, as many times as you want, as quickly or as slowly as you would like. But whisper them all and whisper them quickly. And again, we're trying to imitate some kind of a feeling, ethereal feeling that we can't quite put our hands on. For the third option, we get to explore the dramatic principles of Dragonflies. Whatever the soloist is doing, physically, try to imitate them. If their hand moves, let your hand move. If they're sitting, maybe sit. If they stand, stand. Almost like the lemming effect, except for we're not going to be heading towards any cliffs. But this is a great way to sort of tell a story visually, and not just with the sounds that we're making. And for the fourth option, which is a fantastic choice for young children, is imitate the sounds of nature. Maybe wind, or water, or crickets. These are fantastic ways that young children can be creative and try to create a landscape. It's also a whole lot of fun for adults. If you have more than one background vocalist, you don't have to choose the same accompaniment style. Each person can choose a different style that they want to use. You don't have to line up. If you are a more advanced musician, you can take anything that we've already talked about and bump it up on the next level. Maybe you want to actually write down a roadmap. Maybe you want to draw some kind of shape or an image that's going to influence your performance. Perhaps you want to be very deliberate with the pitches you choose. If you were to, sing a set group of pitches, maybe you want to use a childhood tune that you can recollect or a song you really don't like. That's up to you. But these are ways that we can elevate our performance if you are a more advanced musician. I would challenge anybody who is performing Dragonflies to look at the memory banks, and as you are choosing the order of the words as you present them, let yourself discover interesting stories that are being told with these words. Sure, it might not be grammatically correct, but who needs that right now? Let yourself piece these words together. Make something more than just words found in a memory bank. Make something visceral. It's a great way to explore creativity and draw some sort of narrative through line as we are performing this, so it's not just about the timbres or the theatrics that we're presenting, but it can mean something more to us as performers. As you are learning and performing Dragonflies, let yourself try to relive this moment. Even though, yes, the words chosen here come from Alex's memory, I'd be willing to bet that at least one of these words will resonate with you in some way or another. And as you perform it, if you make a mistake or you stumble over your own words, that's okay. Memories are not perfect, they're hazy, and that's something that's beautiful. That's something that's haunting about them. Thank you so much for spending some time with the 5th and final episode of the Community Music Project, where we introduced a brand new piece, Dragonflies, written by Dr. Alex Temple. Like the other videos, the score to this piece will be found as a link in the YouTube body text and on all of our social media. We can't wait to see what you come up with as you relive this memory. So we ask that if you feel comfortable, please share your performance with us on our Facebook page at FF Community Music Project. If you don't want to do that, all that we ask is that you make something special with those around you. You can find all of the videos for the Community Music Project on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. It was an immense joy for us to share this music with you. And through the Community Music Project, you can build a found marimba out of bottles, you can sing unspecified pitches along with a drone, you can create a rhythmic musical Mad Lib, you get to play a stunning beginner piano piece, and through Dragonflies, you get to relive something from the past. I just wanted to say thank you one more time to composers Kevin Day and Dr. Alex Temple for writing such fantastic music, as well as to the Fulton County Board of Commissioners through their Virtual Arts Initiative grant in the city of Alpharetta for supporting all that we do here and for helping bring this to life. Share this music, build this community, make some moments, and I would say see you at the next one, but I'm just going to say I'll see you around. Thank you so much, and have a good one. Frightening, glistening, glistening. Remember, remember, abandoned. Sunflowers, sunflowers. Yellow, green, lemonade, lemonade. Dragonflies, dragonflies. There that grows, grows, old, if, dry, still, grass, grass. Faded, always, peeling, somehow, fences, shouting, backyard, absolutely, half forgotten, yellow jackets. Cemetery, summer evening, efflorescence. Sanctuary, caterpillars, pattern matching. Dragonflies, frightening, glistening, lemonade, abandoned, remember, yellow, green, sunflowers. Faded, always peeling, somehow, fences, backyard, shouting. There, that grows old grass, still dry, if absolutely half forgotten, sanctuary, yellow jackets, summer evening, efflorescence, caterpillars, pattern matching, cemetery, Brightening, glistening, glistening. Remember, remember, abandoned. Dragonflies, dragonflies. Lemonade, yellow, green sunflowers. There. That grows old. If still dry, grass. Grass. Grass.